Okay, so when we multiply monomials, this is where P-man comes in important. Okay, this is when it gets confusing. So adding, we do nothing to our variable and exponent. But when we're multiplying, we're going to be doing all kinds of crazy things. And some problems have adding rules, multiplying rules, dividing rules, and then it gets crazy. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're paying attention, and then always use P-man. Even me, Miss Rush, the algebra teacher for such a long time, writes this on my paper. I always write this because I forget. I'm a visual person, and you might be too. Okay, but let's write our rule, which is called the product rule. Now, today I will know it's called the product rule. Tomorrow I will have no idea if this is the product or the power rule because I always get confused. Okay, so I just remember P-man. Okay, but this is what the product rule says. And again, I tried to learn the rules and their names growing up and as a math teacher, but it just never made sense. Okay, but the product rule says that when I'm multiplying these guys, these exponents, sorry, variables with exponents, I'm going to add my exponents. I'm going to add my exponents. Okay, but because of P-man, I know that when I'm multiplying, I'm going to go down a rung on the ladder and I'm going to add my exponents. So when I'm looking at my math problem, notice my x's. Now, here's another way that I learned. This is really and truly how I learned to do this before P-man. I said, do I have lots of x's? Like, look, Philip, do I have more than one x or one x? I have more than one, okay? So that's how I remember. When I have lots of variables, that's when I'm gonna add the exponents. Okay, so if I just look like down here, I've got lots of letters down here. That means I'm going to be adding the exponents. Okay, still that's a little bit confusing. So I'm just going to remember P-man. So these x's are multiplying. So I'm going to add the exponents. Now right here, I'm going to show you what we're doing. To the 2 plus 3 is x to the 5th. Now, do you have to write this? No, I'm just writing it so that later on when you go back and look in your notes, you'll say, oh, that's how Miss Rush got the answer. Okay, but essentially I'm using P-man. So like number 18, I've got the same variable, different exponents. So by the way, it doesn't matter if they're the same or not. Okay. The exponents can be the same or different. I'm still going to multiplying. I'm going to add the exponents. So I have a to the 9 plus 1, which is a to the 10th. And don't forget, there's an invisible 1 right up here. Okay, so number 19. I've got the same variable with some exponents, so I'm going to add them because I'm multiplying the w's. I'm going to add the exponents. All right, but it's not always that easy. Sometimes we have coefficients, and when we have coefficients, it's kind of easier for me to think about. So also, like in number 20, they had to throw in some parentheses. And I'm going, eek, okay? Because the parentheses kind of is confusing as well. Do you have to have parentheses on this problem? No. They just put them there to make it look pretty, I guess. Okay? But this is really what the cool thing is. Whenever I have a coefficient, I'm going to ask myself, what are the 4 and the 3 doing? Well, I'm going to multiply them because it says multiply right there. So what's 4 times 3? 12. Okay, now since I multiplied the coefficients, I'm going to add the exponents. So I have x to the 2 plus 5. So I have 12x to the 7th. That's my answer. That type of problem can also be written without the dot. But I'm going to know that parentheses mean multiply. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 5 is 15. And since I multiplied the coefficients, I'm going to add the exponents. So x to the 6 plus 2. And again, you don't have to write that out. I'm just writing it down so you'll know when you look back, hey, that's how I got the answer. Oh, and by the way, if you can't see it or I misread it, you guys please let me know. Okay, now number 22 is the same type of problem, but now I've written it without the parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the coefficients, which means I'm going to add the exponents. So I have 30x to the 6. If we multiply the coefficients, we're going to add the exponents. Okay, so 23. This time we have more than one variable. When we're multiplying and dividing, it does not matter if we have the same exponent or not. Okay, they don't have to be like terms. So in number 23, I'm going to multiply my coefficients. 4 times 3 is negative 12. And I'm going to add the exponents. A to the 3 plus 2. B to the, and y'all got to help me, I cannot see this, 1 plus 5. Okay, so what is my answer? And again, if I were working this out, I would not write that work. Negative 12, A to the 5th, B to the 6th. Okay, you try number 24. You take a second and try number 24. Lil Phil, number 24. Oh my gracious. Then you're going to tell me what you got, Precious. P to the what? 11? Oh, yes. Keep going. Uh-huh. R to the 5th. Woo, did you get that? Did you get it? That's super awesome. Okay, try the next one, number 25. Did you already do that? Okay, so the Queen. What's, Philip, you tell me what 8 times negative 3 is. All right, so now Queen, I just multiplied 8 times negative 3. What do I do to the exponents if I just multiplied coefficients? Add them. Okay, so I have x to the 4th and x to the 4th. What would that be? Go ahead. What'd you say, baby? Oh, yes, you do. X to the 4 plus 4. What's 4 plus 4? Yes, good job. Perfect. Okay, so Nicole, what would the y's be? And Kayla already told us, we multiplied the coefficients, we're gonna add the exponents. Yay, good job. Okay, yes, super. All right, now if you look at number 26, now we've got a whole bunch of coefficients. Don't worry, we're gonna multiply. And not only that, use Desmos. Like, I don't know what 2 times 5 times 3 is, but type it in. And it's a -5, by the way. Someone tell me, type it in. 2 times -5 times 3. -30. Okay, now we've got a lot of y's. We just multiplied the coefficients. So Lexi, when we multiply the coefficients, what do we do to the exponents? Yeah, and I don't know what I tried to write there. Multiply, I don't know what I wrote. Scratch that out. Okay, so yes, we're gonna add them. So what 3 numbers am I adding? 1, 2, and 3. What do we get? Y to the 6. Super, super, super. Ew. 27. I would like for someone to explain that. Is there anyone that thinks they could explain it? Okay, I'll explain it. All right, so this one right here, the AB, has a coefficient of 1. Then I have a 6 and a -1. So somebody tell me what 1 times 6 times -1 is. 1 times 6 times -1. What does that equal? -6, okay. Now let's add up my A's. So this A has a 1, a 5, and a 1. A 1, a 5, and a 1. What's that? Okay, yes, good job. And now check out my B's. How many B's are there? I have a 1, and a 1. What would that be? B to the 3rd. Super job. Okay, now I want you to look at 28 through 34. Is there any problem that you think, oh my goodness, there's no way I know how to do that? Is there one of those problems that you'd like for us to work out? Well, how come nobody wants to do like, number 34? How come? Nicole, why didn't you pick that? Put it in. Where do you have to put it? Type it in. Yeah, Desmos works out the fraction for us. Okay, so let's do number 34. It's not hard because Desmos is going to save the day. So someone do 1/4 times 8 times -6. What do we get? 1/4 times 8 times -6. Yes, what'd you get, Lexi? -12. So we just multiplied the coefficients. What do we do now? Okay, so this is what I do. I'm like, okay, I just multiplied. What do I do next? I add the exponents. So I have an M. What would my M be? One plus 2, 3. All right, and then that's a N, and I have a 1 plus 2, 3. All right, now I'm getting the impression that, boy, this is easy. You guys are rock stars. Okay, well, let's see who we can eliminate now, Mr. Phil. So this is when it gets crazy. Look at number 35. I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on, a whole bunch of shebangers here, okay? This is the way you're gonna attack this type of problem. You're gonna do it into little pieces. So I'm just gonna work out that piece. You know how to do that. We just did that and you guys aced it. You were awesome at doing this, okay? So pretend that this one doesn't even count, okay? I don't even see that piece of problem. All right, so let me get my P-man. That always makes me, that's like my my little blankie that I carry around. You know, it's kind of like my comfort tool here. All right, so I'm looking at this going, all right, what do I do to the 2 and the 4? Well, it says multiply. Okay, so I'm gonna multiply 2 times 4. What's that? 8, okay. So if I just multiplied, I'm gonna look down and I'm gonna add my x exponent. And I'm gonna add my y exponents. And there we go, I got it. So I just did an easy problem that you guys have been flying through. So now let's work out this one together. Okay, so look right here. I'm gonna have a 1 right here. I'm gonna multiply the 3 times 1, which means I'm gonna look below and add the exponents. So what's 1 times 3? 3. And then now tell me what my x is gonna be, Nicole. Good job. And what's my y gonna be? So hold on. My y has a 4 and a 1. Okay, and then there was a plus sign in there. So now I've got to do just one more step. Can these be combined? Why? They are what? They are the same variable and the same exponent, which means they are like terms. So remember, when I add, I'm going to do nothing to the variable and the exponent. So I'm just going to add 8 plus 3. Anybody get that? 11. And this is so simple. Do nothing to the variable and the exponent. Do nothing to the variable and the exponent. All right, so we're going to slide on down to number 37. Okay, same thing. It looks like a whole bunch of gobbledygook. No big deal. We're going to break it into little pieces. So this one, do I have to do any work to it? No, there's no times, there's no plus or nothing. All right, so let's write it down. 19 M8 N8. And I'm gonna put my minus right there so I don't forget it. Okay, now I'm working out the second part. Okay, how do I work that out? Okay, now I'm getting nervous, so I'm gonna just look at P-man. I'm gonna multiply the 4 times 3. What's 4 times 3? 12. Okay, and now I have M and, oh, wait, I forgot. If I multiplied the 4 times 3, I'm gonna add my exponents. So M is gonna be to the what power? 8, good job. And N is gonna be to the what? 8. Okay, am I finished? Why not? Okay, why am I allowed to combine these? They're the same. I have the same variable with the same exponent. Okay, so what's 19 minus 12? Yeah, good job. And since I just added or subtracted, we don't do anything to the variable and the exponent. I leave them alone. M to the 8, N to the 8. Okay, so does anybody have any questions?